What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Casual Old Gamer Weekly. This is episode 3, and compared to the last couple of weeks, things are actually a little quieter. Which, honestly, I don't mind, because Gamescom is basically here. Opening night live is August 25th, and the actual show runs from August 26th through the 30th, so I have a feeling next week's show may be a little different. But that doesn't mean nothing happened this week. Epic 7 just dropped a surprisingly massive 8th anniversary showcase. Arknights Endfield revealed its next major update. Girls Frontline 2 has OTS 14 coming along with a pretty important new doll upgrade system. And Star Sailors is teasing what it calls its biggest collaboration yet, while refusing to tell us what the collaboration actually is. So let's get into it. Let's start with Epic 7. Epic 7 held its Infinity Showcase for the game's 8th anniversary. And the anniversary update begins on August 27th. One of the biggest additions is a new side story called Paradise Lost. This takes us all the way back to the First Era, before Ras even existed. The story includes a human version of Charon named Cain Politis and the new character Lizette. Lizette is a new light soul weaver, with some pretty interesting revival and time rewind mechanics. An unknown pioneer Politis actually changes parts of her role depending on whether you place her in the front or back row, but the quality of life changes might be just as important. Offline battle delegation is coming. You'll be able to queue farming based on your previous clears and then close the game instead of leaving Epic 7 running the entire time. For anyone who has spent hours leaving a phone or emulator running just to farm gear, that is a very welcome change. Then we have the Chaos Zero Nightmare collaboration coming in September. Renoa, Haru, and Mei Lin are crossing over into Epic 7. Renoa will be obtainable for free during the event. Haru and Mei Lin will be limited summons. And the collaboration is also bringing a new permanent roguelike mode called Dimension Exploration. Then we get to the anniversary rewards from August 27th through October 29th. Epic 7 is giving players 20 free Covenant summons every day. That's a total of 1,260 free summons. Apparently Epic 7 saw other anniversary giveaways and decided subtlety was overrated. There's also a free Majestic New Moon Luna skin just for logging in on August 27th. And finally, yes, Epic 7 is officially coming to Steam. The Steam page is already live for wishlisting, and existing players will be able to link their accounts. There is still no exact Steam launch date. For now, it simply says 2026. But overall, this was a much bigger anniversary announcement than I expected. Next up is Arknights Endfield. The next update is called Dreamscape of Wind and Snow, and it launches on September 2nd. The new story takes us into the snowy forest outside Yinglung Pass. Chief Engineer Andre heads into the area, and then suddenly disappears. When the administrator goes looking for him, they discover a forest covered in enchanted fog that keeps sending travelers back to where they started, and they're not the only ones trapped there. We also meet Typhoeus, arriving directly from Rhodes Island and the original Arknights. Typhoeus is the new 6-star nature striker. She uses a massive bow, can leap into the air and continue attacking while hovering, hit multiple enemies, and avoid certain ground-based attacks. She can also create a barrage array that slows enemies and helps set up nature burst damage. But there's another part of this update that caught my attention even more. Later in September, we get a new puzzle exploration map called Suiming, and the entire city is basically built around a time loop. The tides rise and fall, new paths become available as the water moves. You search the city for parts needed to repair the waking bell. And when the tide rises again, time rewinds, but anything you've already collected stays with you. So you're slowly learning the city and making more progress with every loop. That sounds genuinely interesting. And then we have Purrchena. She's the new 5-star physical defender. She uses a shield to protect the team, can heal allies with gift boxes, and applies additional support effects. And here's the good part. She's free. You can directly claim Purrchena and her recommended weapon, Desert Moment, through the giveaway event. And completing the event missions gives enough additional copies to max the potential of both the character and the weapon. No banner required. That's a pretty good deal. Girls Frontline 2 also has a pretty substantial update arriving on August 27th. The update is called Chiral Redundancy. And the first major new character is OTS 14. She's an elite assault rifle sentinel using the new resonance attribute. And what makes her interesting is flexibility. OTS 14 can exploit every elemental weakness. Her passive can also adapt to the dominant element of the team around her. She can switch between two different orders. One improves allied critical damage and stores damage dealt by the team. The other focuses more heavily on Otis 14 herself. That stored damage can then be converted into a much larger burst attack. So instead of being locked into one elemental composition, she can potentially fit into quite a few different teams. But the bigger long-term addition may be the new doll mod system. Starting August 27th, eligible standard dolls can be upgraded into elite versions through the refitting room. And Nemesis is the first doll getting the treatment. Her upgraded form is Nemesis, Gnosis. You won't need to recruit the upgraded version separately. The update provides the materials needed to unlock her through gameplay, and your existing affinity and covenant progress carries between the two forms. I really like this idea. Gacha games eventually build up a lot of older characters. Giving those characters a path back into relevance is usually much more interesting than simply replacing them with somebody new every month. The update also introduces expanded elemental terrain interactions, the new Frontier Conquest mode, and heavy Ordnance Corps support. Then on September 17th, Part 2 begins with Sapo, so this is going to be a fairly large GFL2 update. Star Sailors has an update coming on August 26th. And apparently we're getting a collaboration with who? Good question. The developers are still calling it Star Sailors Cross ? So I'm not going to play the guessing game and accidentally turn somebody's Reddit theory into news. What we do know is that the collaboration includes a new 3-star companion, a special Nadia costume, a story event, a login event, and a new minigame, and the login event will guarantee players a new collaboration companion. Version 1.2 also introduces the new artifact system and the ruins where you'll obtain them. And these are a little more interesting than normal equipment. Artifacts have a positive resonance effect, but they also have a negative recoil effect. So an artifact might increase your damage while also making you take more damage. The idea is to make choosing an artifact an actual trade-off instead of simply equipping whatever has the highest rarity. I'm curious to see how that works in practice. And I'm even more curious to find out who this collaboration actually is. Alright, time for some quick hits. Applications for the Astre Oratio closed beta test are officially open. Applications run through September 21st. Selected players will eventually participate on iOS or Android, but there is one important distinction. Those dates are only for applications. The actual closed beta test dates have not been announced yet, so if you apply now, you're applying for a test that we still don't know the date of. I also went through the Blue Archive livestream, and there wasn't some huge secret announcement hiding in there. Most of the game-related portion focused on content that had just released. Main Story Act 2 is underway, including a spring day full of almond blossoms and high noon haze. Nico and Kurumi currently have their unique pickup recruitment, and the special mission, Lore Pursuit event, features Otogi. The next immediate date to watch is August 25th, when the Urban Kaiten Total Assault begins. So Blue Archive definitely has content going on, just not a giant new reveal for this week's show. Brown Dust 2 is preparing Master Pack 2 for August 27th. And this announcement actually came separately from the live stream. The stream itself was mainly focused on the currently running Tale of the Dragon's Heart and the Sunny Smile. The new Master Pack takes us into the land of demons, Genar, along with the Golden Colosseum. We don't have to wait long for this one. It arrives August 27th. And Morriman's version 2.6 goes live following maintenance on August 24th. The update adds the new Awakener Caribou along with Astral Rain Chapter 6 when the mountain feasts. Part 1 is available after the update. Part 2 unlocks on August 29th. The story takes the Keeper into Hyperborea, high in the snowy mountains, where I'm sure absolutely nothing disturbing is going to happen, because this is Morriman's. And before we wrap up, Gamescom is basically here. Opening Night Live is August 25th. Then Gamescom runs from August 26th through the 30th, and there are already several games in our wheelhouse showing up. Hoyoverse is bringing Genshin Impact, Honkai, Star Rail, Zenless Zone Zero, Honkai, Nexus Anima, and Petite Planet. Both Nexus Anima and Petite Planet will have playable demos at the show. Arknights, Endfield is also going pretty big. They have 2 booths, playable boss challenges, live performances, and developer talks scheduled throughout the event. So unless everybody at Gamescom decides to be extremely well behaved, I suspect Episode 4 is going to have plenty to talk about. And that is going to do it for Episode 3 of Casual Old Gamer Weekly. It was a slightly quieter week, but Epic 7 definitely made up for some of that with its 8th anniversary announcements, and personally I'm really interested in that Endfield update. The Suiming time loop idea sounds like it could be a lot of fun, but now I want to hear from you. What caught your attention this week, Epic 7, Typhoeus, and Endfield? Epic 7? Typhoeus and Endfield? OTS 14 and the new doll mod system, or are you just waiting to find out what Star Sailors is actually collaborating with? Let me know down in the comments. And with Gamescom happening this week, there's a pretty good chance we'll have a lot more to talk about next time. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to Casual Old Gamer, and come back next week for another roundup. Until then, stay lucky, spend responsibly, and I'll see you in the next one.